Good morning Africa ci Africa TV mbokk yi ñu ngi leen di nuyu di leen wax juma mubarak tey ci ajuma bu màgg bi le ñu ngi leen di ziar di leen nuyu fu ngeen munta nekk ci biir réew mi ba ci biti réew di ànd ak ñun ci plateforme bu am solo bi xam ngeen ne bu waxtu bi jotee rek dañ dee ñëw indi leen li gën a fees suñuy xibaar waaye tamit teg ci waxtaane xew-xew jamono di leen wax good morning and of course thank you very much as always for being with us. And we are very much happy to be back. And of course, this is the week's ending edition of your much followed and of course, Good Morning program right here and on Africa TV. So wherever you might be watching around the globe, we say thank you very much for being with us again, as we of course wrap up the week and get to the weekend. But before getting in
Puss Bulen Bamba tey moom it's going to be very very interesting te tey tamit moom is an interesting day for me dinaa ko wax ci kanam because someone very special to me her birthday is today.
Excellent. If you want to know who she is talking about, just stick around with us. We'll get to that later on, of course, and then mu wax ñu kan la waaye ñu ngi ko wish happy birthday anyway xamaguñ kan la nag waaye no when su ko waxee we'll get to know. Well, of course, this morning nañ ñëw waxtaane lu am solo ci li nga xamante ne mooy ci réew mi si suñu xibaar na ci bokk Minister of Justice Attorney General moom ba Tambadou tekki na nomba tànkam ci place bi nga xamante ne foofu la doon liggéey ci nguuri Gambia. nañ ci yegg si léegi incha allah ci kanam tuuti nañ ci wax tamit ci leneen wax ci TRRC bi xam ngeen ne démba jël nañ break waaye li fa xewoon nañ ci dellusiwaat ci li nga xamante ne mooy ci xew-xew bi foofu démba leneen liñ cee toftal mooy nañ ci wax ci National Assembly bi incha allah loolu tamit démba amoon nañ fa taxawaay bu am solo ak yeneen xibaar ci kanam tuuti incha allah si suñuy xibaar fii ci suba sile nañ ci boole tamit newspaper bi waaye comme julde nu mu ko waxee ci kanam tuuti ñu ngi fi am guest bu am solo ay gesta laay war a wax parce que mun ñam ngay ñëw ci kanam tuuti ñu war a yaatal waxtaan bi ñu am ci extended version waaye laataal loolu dañ ci war a dalal ay ndaw ñu continuer di waxtaane di impact of COVID-19 on different sectors laan leen secteur yu bëri tey dañ bugg a laal ndaw yi ak technology loolu dafa am solo ndax xam ngeen ne jamono ji technology mooy doxal réew ñoom tamit jafe-jafe ak yooyu ci incha allah ci kanam tuuti but before we get to that we'll begin with our studio stories and we will start with matters of the resignation of the country's Attorney General because President of the Republic of the Gambia has approved the resignation of the country's Attorney General and Minister of Justice to take effect from 30 June 2020. The Minister of Justice successfully initiated several governance reform activities such as the Constitutional Review Commission and the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission and the National Human Rights Commission. Details of that in this report.
The government of the Gambia is faced with major resignations that have the potential to paralyze the country's operation if decisive replacements are not immediately considered, especially in the wake of heightened fight against the coronavirus global pandemic. Attorney General and Minister of Justice reportedly tendered his resignation on Wednesday, a day he was very busy answering questions before the National Assembly, mainly on the implementation of recommendations of the Janneh Commission. Abubakar Tambadou is said to have secured a senior management position at the United Nations. He had informed members of the National Assembly that the Gambia government was able to recover more than $1 billion from the sales of the property of former President Yahya Jammeh.
We have recovered a total amount of $1,110,239,227 net, as well as an additional amount of $88,535,000 net committed but still outstanding. The recoveries have all been paid into a designated special recoveries account at the Central Bank of the Gambia under the control of the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs, except an amount of $50 million, which was paid directly to the TRRC Victims Trust Fund as government's initial contribution to the fund. The total amount includes the proceeds of sale of some assets, payments made by some individuals against whom adverse findings were made by the Janneh Commission, and other monies generated from the activities of the Janneh Commission itself.
Mr. Tambedu had in July 2017 his resignation over a leaked audio relating to his brother Sirif Tambedu with the wife of the former NIA director Yankuba Baji turned down by the president Adama Barrow. Sirif had been withdrawn from the team prosecuting the NIA 9, accused of conspiring to the murder of Ibrahima Solo Sanden. On a similar news, the national coordinator of the Gambia government COVID-19 preparedness and response program has resigned barely 1 month after his appointment. Alassane Senghor, Secretary General of the Gambia Red Cross Society, was appointed by President Adama Barrow to coordinate the work of all stakeholders involved in the COVID-19 response in the country. During the government's press conference regarding updates on the food aid distribution in May, Mr. Senghor was formally presented to the media ahead of what was to be his busy schedule in the fight against the COVID-19.
Just before we begin the press conference, I would ask Mr. Alhassan Senghor to come forward. The Gambia government, in recognition of the seriousness of the pandemic, has decided to appoint at the highest level COVID-19 coordinator. He's the national coordinator of the COVID program. I'm sure he's a familiar face. Most of you who work with the Red Cross. He's been Secretary General of the Red Cross many years ago. He went international, he came back and served again until recently. So, Mr. Senghor, welcome. In the coming days and weeks, you will be seeing him more in the press conferences and other government programs. You know, I apologize when I started talking, I never introduced you. I skipped that. Now we'll begin the press conference.
It was under his responsibility to provide technical assistance to the Minister of Health in facilitating responses during the ongoing emergency situation. Reporting for Africa News, I am Amadou Kante.
Now, the outgoing Attorney General and Minister of Justice has been replaced by Dauda A. Jallow with effect from the 1st of July, according to a media release from the Office of the President on Thursday evening. Yeah, so that's the development. Of course, interesting days, you know, in the country. Minister of Justice, I think this came as a surprise, maybe to many. I don't know, but you know, probably Gambians were expecting him to resign at this moment, but he has resigned. But more so also to the national, you know, coordinator of COVID-19 response team, whatever. Mom Alassane Senghor, Mom Tamid mu resign. I think what was on Wednesday, it was announced for Tuesday. So culminating this thing happening more or less at the same time, Muneka in a crucial moment, and Lamoy's assessment or your reading on this situation, and also interestingly, government wasting time, they went on to appoint a replacement of Tambedu, Dauda A. Jallow, who I think is a very familiar face and in the Gambia, you know. So Lamoy's Sajanga, just quickly.
I think this is not a surprise to the government of the Gambia because Tambedu 2019 the tender won his resignation while Barrow daf ko deny one. So but now mu ñëwaat mu resign immediately fu mu tender resignation and Barrow mu accept ko and mu replace ko with another person, so ne maybe the people were not aware of the situation why ñoom neen xamoon nañ ne whether Tambedu dafa bëggoon na resign or not te ken ñeneen tamit dañoo other analysts also will say that okay maybe because of the pressure of the APRC government ñu ko ne recently guy dañ held a press conference almost 1 hour. Guy, we're just talking about Tambedu assets Dev Janneh Commission and why he should resign. So all these things dafa nekk loo xam ne dafa am solo torop nali. In another way, one can say that it is a victory for the APRC because they called for his resignation and then moom mu resign. Ñoom dañoo xool ne loolu is a victory to them because
but another side also, Julia Dogumala sax mooy mu resign for international appointment. He's going to the United Nations and he was serving his own country. Am na ñu ko gisee leneen tamit and the timing of the resignation, like all that. Yeah,
loolu tamit am na solo because dañoo wax ne at this crucial moment, especially at the moment of confusion, mu ngi Janneh Commission, assets si president President Barrow moo ko initiate te wax na ne President Jammeh am nañ over 1 billion si assets, the soul of the assets of the former president. So it's a bit controversial looking at Tambedu and the UN appointment and everything that is surrounding the Barrow administration. Why one thing it's clear is like it will somehow affect the Barrow-led administration because one, ñoom tamit they're faced with the COVID-19 response team. Alassane Senghor moom tamit dafa resign. So finding a replacement for him tamit dafa nekk leneen te one thing is important. Like government nuñ dee demee kum initiate programs and initiatives and another president who comes there, whether the president would be able to deliver like the president who was there is another thing. But foog nañ ne like Barrow tamit Attorney General, Minister of Justice nekkul just any ordinary person nga war a appoint for that because it's a very important position in the government cabinet. Waaye léegi daal mu ngi noonu xam naa ne daal Barrow administration bi daal nit am na ñeneen sax ñu wax ne like you know, the Barrow administration would be faced with so many more resignations because ñu ngi down ne waaw ñu ngi wax ne okay maybe the Barrow-led administration ñu ngi fail moo taxit ñeneen critics yi tamit ñu ngi wax ne Tambadou dafa dem because dafa believe ne Barrow government bi ñu bari ñu ngi wax ne it's a failed administration so he will not be want to be part of that failed administration moo taxit mu leave this job for an international appointment, but that is the views of the people and everyone is entitled to
Absolutely.
opinion.
There has been great reactions since Demba tey, and I am assumed that it will continue. Gambians has been reacting to the news, home and abroad, and of course, and that is expected because of his role and position in the government and all that. Alassane Senghor also barely a month after his appointment, he also resigned. That's another thing. But that's just a bit we can talk about it. Of course, the rest we will let you also have your say on the development. Lolu lay muna deme ñu continuer cooli mom dena continue. Interesting times ahead, as we'll always say. We will move on next and talk matters of the National Assembly because the parliamentarians in Banjul have adopted a report of the Select Committee tasked to look into the merits of the access to information bill with the recommendations of its adoption, and the bill seeks to reinforce the country's democratic values to align with government's promise of transparency and accountability to the public. Details of that in this report by Juldan Jaisware.
The National Assembly has adopted a report of the Select Committee on Education, Training and IEC, which presented findings on the Access to Information Bill 2019, recommending for its adoption. Tabled by the Minister of Justice in December 2019, the document was referred to the Business Committee and then to the Education and IEC for scrutiny. Presenting the report before the Committee of the Whole House on Thursday, Alhaji Mbo noted that stakeholders, including the Gambia Press Union and Ministry of Information and Communication Infrastructure, have all shared their recommendations to facilitate the passage of the bill. The bill seeks to provide the framework for ordinary Gambians to access public records and information from public authorities or persons providing public services to be in line with international standards. Once passed, the document will facilitate the establishment of an independent commission to ensure independent review on the disclosure of government information.
Number 6, Section 38 refers to the extent of the exemption to be deleted. The reason is to avoid giving the ministers sweeping powers where the need for exception arises in the future. Approval should be sought from the National Assembly in the form of an amendment bill. Because if you leave it blanket, which means they have the authority to make extension on their own, and we don't want that to happen. So we want any kind of extension to be made, let it come back to National Assembly for us to, in the form of an amendment bill, for us to act on that. Number 7, on the establishment of a commission on access to information, we recommend that to be assigned to an already existing commission like the National Human Rights Commission. Number 8, Section 42, that's the subsection 1, procedure for the appointment of members of the commission can be directly derived from the qualification and criteria laid down in the National Human Rights Commission Act 2017 that was approved by this plenary.
The tabling of the report that sought to improve access to information to the public generated the best from representative of the people. The National Assembly member for Fonyi Berefet, Sunkari Baji, said he commended the committee for what he called a good job. For the member for Woodley West, Sidia Jata said the Human Rights Commission, being an oversight institution, should not be taxed with the administration of the Act, on the point that one must not be a judge and a jury at the same time. The job, in his view, was better under the Ministry of Information. The representative of Banjul South, Fatoumata Njai, was of the view that a selection of people from diverse fields to be in charge of the management of the Access to Information Bill. Suleiman Saho of Central Badibu embraced the bill. For access to information, he said, should not be restricted to any single entity.
The time frame of notification, the committee did not highlight it in the report. I don't know whether it was an oversight, but if I could remember, it was 21 days. To me, that was too much because information is highly needed. So if you give a long duration of time, it can harm, or it can affect the development that we want to do. So information is there to facilitate so that we have an efficient governance in the system. So once we have this kind of a time frame, it will impede our development.
Despite the compliments on the necessity of the access to information provision, the National Assembly unanimously referred the document to the drawing board for incorporation of recommendation from the House. For iAfrica News, I am Julde Njai Suare.
jërëjëf many thanks Julde Njai Suare for the report am na solo su ko defee rek ci moom Julde lay toonaat ñu waxtaanee ko ci tënk rek Julde of course information access to information bill bi finally adopt nañ ko at the parliament démb mu nekk lu am solo li press bi bàyyoon xel di ci am interest tamit because access to information in this country is very very difficult waaye lii dina tax xëy na mu yombal liggéey bi ñu war a am xam xibaar yuy xew du ma ci sori ma bàyyi la rek nga indi ci sa jàngat ci li nga xamante ne mooy ci démba li nga xamante ne mooy nuñ ko doxalee foofu ci pencum ndaw réew mi.
Well, am na solo. Access to information, Mom, I think is one of the most important human rights you can give to anybody. Because so nit ki so hanya information rek hanya ko yeb. So it's very very crucial. Today, lu happened at the National Assembly. It's a welcome move because I can say 99% of the parliamentarians welcome the bill and they show their support to the bill. So this shows like the country is really in the right direction. And man, looking at what happened at the National Assembly yesterday, man, I have no doubt that the bill then co-adopt at the end of the day because then adopt the one of the Select Committee on Education, Training and IEC. So the next stage at the National Assembly is the consideration stage. So Sunko consider the bill it's good to go. So adoption be consideration be then guy adopt ko finally make ko into a law. That is something very very important because come no ko wahe in this country over the years danga sohla information as simple as maybe for example you sack someone, the government normally in this country the norm is they will not tell you the reason for sacking for this individual, and it is prudent on the government to tell it is a responsibility on them. So sake nitki public official or public figure nga sako ñi dañ wara xamne the reason why you sack that person so that ñi ku nekk mun nga def sa judgment sa conclusion and everything, but it will be based on the information you have. But for instance now ñu ne sack nañ nitki it is deployed to foreign services like they would always say, but you would not know the reason why they were sacked. Are they involved in corruption? Were they not competent enough, or are they involved in things that are not in line with their job? So these are things that people really need to know in order to scrutinize the people in public places or public appointments, so that in the near future duñ am repetition of such. So in Lanare place in a position in the government, people will be like, okay, he or she was involved in corruption and other things. So Sunkonare def me, this person is not trustworthy of of a government institution. So therefore I'm solo to why access to information will be, I'm sure it will facilitate things like that. So in government be so fire when it, people have the right to know why that person was fired. If the government says A, B and C, like a table something at the National Assembly and this is the spending of the government or this is the national budget, you know, people have the right to know where, how, you know, that money, those monies were spent on. But normally do they get slow so gisee rek nit ñi ñu xam ko e suñ démé ci National Assembly bi lolu sa dama tek ne it's not in depth, it's just the surface of the area, but they will not go in depth to tell people exactly how, when, you know, and on what was the monies actually spent on. So access to information is very important.
Very well. And with this one, probably you will hope, you know, that will change. People will be more informed about issues and things that happen at the level of, you know, public institutions, especially and the central government and other relevant offices or stakeholders as well. So that xam daal luy xew xibaar yi wala yëf yi nu moo demee loolu lu am solo la su ko defee loolu lu fa xew démb dañ ko rafetlu. Quickly, I will move on from that. We head to matters of the TRRC because a former director of the Gambia Prison Services, who is widely implicated for the deep, deadly conditions of the Mile 2 Central Prison, denied responsibility for deaths of prisons as a result of the inhuman environment of the prison. David Colley acknowledged the fact that the life-threatening situation due to overcrowded cells, spread of diseases, among others, persisted under his leadership, but that it was government in general to blame, as he appeared before the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission on Thursday.
It is my duty. Can I come in? It is my duty. That's why I took up the responsibility of meeting the minister. So that government can provide funds.
When that project failed, what did you do to ensure that prisoners are no longer sleeping in toilets?
That's why I'm coming. It was Bojang. Commissioner at CRR, Joytan. He was the man in charge as a minister. When Masan Sisi was moved out. So I took up that responsibilities and invited the minister. So he said, wait, I heard what you said. Now let me invite government, GPP, Nana, an independent doctor, including government doctors, to come with the prison visiting committee. Prison council committee. We came to a discussion.
About what?
About the living condition of prisoners. Overcrowding. So we visited the prisons. And I saw them all the facilities and the living condition of prisoners. So among them, each take a note of it. We came back to my office at the hall. We discussed the issue. They put up a recommendation, hand it to him. He took it to the high authorities. At the time, government gave funds.
On the aspect of food, Colley testified that inmates were served good food and that the disease called beriberi was a so-called sickness and as a result of food in the prison. His testimony appears in sharp contradiction of all victims of the Mile 2 Central Prison and a number of current and former prison officers who have appeared before the commission for the past few weeks. Yeah, that was a very interesting day. David Colley, he appeared before the commission yesterday to also narrate his own side of the story after he was implicated or allegedly done so many things at the Mile 2 Central Prison whilst being the, I think the managing, is it? How he was the
former.
Yeah, former director of the prisons. All right, so we deny all the allegations. Said basically ci lim wax na nag lu bëri so démba ñu bëri tamit comment nañ ci the way he was responding to issues. People have doubt on his responses and all that, but it was good to bring him on the platform and give me also the opportunity to respond to the allegations. Why, on one side, foog naa ne tamit ñu ne ñu ngi jàpp ne sax dimbalewut boppam because dafa waroon na gën a appreciate ci nu ñu waroon a coordinate waxtaan bi mu wax ci li nga xamante ne xëy na bu ko waxee ñëpp nañ gën a understand li mu bëggoon a wax waaye he was struggling with the language and all that. Lan mooy sa jàngat ci démba testimony bu mu def.
Very well, David Colley. Demba, he was struggling because on several occasions the lead counsel or the chairman will stop him and say, if you're comfortable with your language, why not you speak that one? But he will insist that he is comfortable with the English, and the English he was struggling with it actually. Indeed. And another issue is most of the allegation levied against him mom daf ko deny, ranging from the food in prison, ranging from how prisoners were treated, ranging from the cause of sicknesses, torture and all that. So daf ko deny ne plainly mom he was not aware of it, and it is for the even for the fact ne mom daf don jël xaalis leki Mile 2 bi diko yóbbu si këram lolu sa daf ko deny mu ne that is not an issue there. So why one thing that Lumwahne, which is very interesting, and people are posting about it and all, was because what the reason for the cost of beriberi initially mom dafa wax ne he is not a doctor, so he didn't know, he have no idea about it, and then he turned and said the reason for that sickness is because of bug infestation at Mile 2 Central Prison. So mu nekk loo xam ne dafa funny woon torop, bug infestation pour mun a cause that sickness called beriberi. So David Colley dal mungi nonu. So many allegations were levied on him, and the last person, if I could recall, was the Baba Job, Tida Baba Job, who said that David Colley, how she bribed David Colley for the safekeeping of her husband and all, buying television generators and giving him a monthly allowance just to ensure that mom jikeram defa safe. But gis nañ ne all these things David Colley mom Defa deny most of the allegations, levied against him as the prison director. Why? He was not aware of things that were happening under his watch. So surprisingly, he was the head of the prison, and most of the allegations levied against him is that he participated directly in those things that were happening for inmates in Mile 2 Central Prison.
Very well. Non la demee su ko defee rek luñ cee wax mooy I think ne dafa war a ñëwaat ci commission bi mu continuer waaye right now they are on break xamaguñ kañ la ñoo dellu si, but they promise to communicate then Gambians, so everybody will know can like the hearing si di continue because they are just finish and benen session be, so they are on a break at the moment. So we will move from the TRC matters and finally end with dismissal, of course, at the NYC. That's the National Youth Council. The youth folk have taken to social media platforms to challenge government's decision to dismiss the executive director of the National Youth Council, Mr. Lamin Dabo, was given marching out orders in a letter signed by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Youth and Sports on Wednesday. No reasons was advanced for his sacking, prompting the youth in different walks of lives to decry of foul play. The ministry said it will pay the outgoing youth leader a one-month salary for back of notification as required by the public service guidelines. Tentatively, the vacant position will be under the program manager of the National Youth Council, according to the dismissal letter. There you go. Lamin Dabo, former National Youth Council director, dismissed. And of course, the youths, probably received the news with dismay and then reacted that they need to know the reasons why, demanding to be informed lan moo tax ñu daxa ko dafa mel ni ndaw yi kontaan nuñ ci moom ni ko génnee ci place boobu Lamin Dabo moom moo jiite woon ndaw yi te ñu bari jàpp nañ daf doon xeexal interest ndaw yi seen intérêt. But unfortunately, wala sax xaw ma du ma woon bàyyi gis nañ ni of course unfortunately dem na xaw ma li ko waral and all that, because of course ministry bi waxuñu lu tax yooyu Julde lan mooy yow sa reaction ak tamit gis naa sax message buy dem ci some social media platform di wax ne tey foog naa ne ndaw yi dañu war a am press conference pour wax ci loolu tamit demand maybe sax bu nécessaire nguur gi dellu si seen dogal boobu bàyyi ko mu continuer ci place boobu. So lan mooy sa jàngat quickly rek on the dismissal of Lamin Dabo?
Wow, it was very interesting and shocking. Bum ko sake mom everywhere, so they make social media do they pass 1-2 posts Kisulo could talk about Lamin Dabo and what he has been doing for the young people over the years. Hamnane Lamin Dabo kuko hamut sin down rek degangako because he toured the corners of the country to make sure the young people are catered for. So lolo no mu nekka lo xamne dafa important torop. And one thing that ñoo xamne dañ ko comment on was that he is apolitical. He does not involve himself with political issues. And I think that is very, very important for the National Youth Council. For the fact that ñoom dañ shy away or distinguish themselves from politics. Ñu nekk loo xam ne they are an independent body only fighting for the rights and welfare of youths. Lamin Dabo sakinam bi dafa nekk loo xam ne dafa shocking, and people like Madi Jobate also are saying it is unconstitutional. Ñu ngi wax ne moom amuñ nguur mi amuñ right pour sack Lamin Dabo, according to the Public Service Act and other acts of the government. But loolu daal I'm sure ne ñi ndaw ñi duñ ko bàyyee ni comme no ko waxee gars ñu ngi bëgg a held a press conference, and not only a press conference, most of them are saying ne government bi su reinstate today Lamin Dabo, they will took to the street to demand for his the protest and demand for his return
but
or to
must
give
be very
explanation
proud of himself by since yesterday when news began how the young people reacted. I think he should be very proud of himself
exactly
because of, I think he really served the young people. That's why they felt he should not be removed from his position because dafa mel ni gis nañ position bu mu jëlal ndaw yi, and I think that's very important. It's very rare nga gis ñu daaxa nit ñu fa ñu mu jiite ñu react such a like luñ gis
démba so that shows ne nit ñi dañ war a bàyyi xel si li this should serve as an example to people who are in government to show ne noo def rek waaye lu munti def rek dina la fay at the end of the day loo def rek loolu moo laa ñëw fay si te Lamin Dabo like sakinam bi everybody is talking about it. Even some activists, youths, not only youths, and ñoo xam ne sa mag lañ, they were condemning it yesterday on social media, saying it is unjustifiable and things like that. So I think change of transformation is very, very important. Everybody should yearn to leave a legacy of transformation, and I think that is what Lamin Dabo does. That is why his sacking received a widespread of condemnation.
Yeah, absolutely. It was greeted, in that way, wide condemnation, as you said. Well, of course, finally, this brings us to the end of the studio stories. But of course, as you know, that is of course not the end of this program as of now. Su ko defee rek gannaaw bu ñu jeexalee suñ xibaar yi lu ñu def rek jël short break ñu ñëwaat incha allah dalal nag ay suñ guest yi, and we talk about the impact of COVID-19 on, of course, the young people and of course and the technology sector as well, because we talked about the transport sector, we talked about other sectors, sports and all whatever. So we need to, today we want to look at the technology sector as well. I think that's very, very important. So just a moment, we just take a short break and come back, inshallah, and then we'll continue the discussions. And of course, there'll be an extended version also of GMA today. So thanks for being with us. We're back right after this.
ñu leen di nuyu ku nekk sa tur ak sa sant néew bu bàyyeekoo TRRC Truth Reconciliation and Reparations Commission ngir fàttali leen rek TRRC moom leen jox doole sàkku dëgg ak taxawal dëgg si wàllum jafe-jafe not ak toroxtaane yi tegoon nit ñi bàyyeekoo July 1994 ba January 2017 si wàllum liggéey ngir sàkku dëgg nag foog ñu am képp ku nga xamante ne nii bokkoon na si nit ñu nga xamante ne leen notoon toroxal leen teg leen ay ñaawteef ñu leen di ñaan ngeen ñoo joxe seen statement yi waaye ñu leen di wax tamit ne képp ku nga xamante ne nii bëgg ngaa ñoo joxe sa kàddu waaye bëgguloo feeñ si télé wala si caméra wala si nit ñu bari loolu yépp ne la ko mën a rafetalal ñu defal la ko si secret kon ñu leen di ñaan yéen ñëpp képp ku nga xamante ni jànku wante nga toroxtande wala ñaawteef bu bàyyeekoo boppu jamono ñu lay ñaan nga ñoo joxe sa statement bi képp ku nga xamante ne ni bëgg ngaa ñoo joxe sa statement callal Victim Support Unit si 770 4988 770 4988 770 4988 wala nga call statement tekasi si 741 5937 741 5937 741 5937 jërë ngeen jëf.
si ñëw bi nga ñëw seet si suma tabax gi kontaan naa ci trop trop. maa gën a kontaan bi ma ñëwee fekk sa tabax bi toll fii waaye nag man kontaanuma ci sama kër gi man. lu xew ndax umpale wu loon ne ñoo bokkoon nekk Europe. dëgg la jamono yu ñu nekkee foofu yëpp man ak yow maa ngi am benn waay maa ngi ko yónnee xaalis bu bari pour mu sampal ma suma kër. te ba léegi tabax bi àggul fenn. te yow nga waxoon ma ne ma bi nga starté samp yàggul léegi nga toll fii foo jaar. li waral loolu nag mooy dama ànd ak waa Baluwo. kon su ma la déggee Baluwo dañuy yëngu ci samp kër tamit.
ni ngay def nag yomb na da ngay log on to www.baluwo.com mun ngaa jënd ci ñoom ciment suuf banta weñ ba ci daaj yi nga xam ne di nga ko soxla lépp lu jëm ci wàllu samp rek mun nga koo am ci lu yomba ak Baluwo daal yaay dugal sa xaalis fi nga ko bëgg a amee ko ci ni nga ko bëggee.
My fellow Gambian brothers and sisters, this is a message of precaution, solidarity, and hope. We living in very unusual times. The coronavirus is a menace that's threatening all of us. But together, united, we can do something about this. First, we need to take necessary precautions and take expert advice and act accordingly. Stay away from crowded places, wash our hands, and use hand sanitizers where necessary. Let us remain calm and hopeful. There is a God, that God is alive. Allah will take care of us, but we have to take the necessary precautions. There is a number that can be called to report and to ask questions. Let's use it. Together, we can fight this menace, and we know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be there for us. Let's remain calm and hopeful. Inna Allaha ma'as sabirin. Let's be patient, calm, take precaution, and do the right things. This is a message from your brother, Muhammadu Sabali. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
with Good Morning Africa, right here on Africa TV. Comme ni nga ko waxee woon rek, of course, we, from the break, we just bring you on the newspaper review. But thanks to, of course, Star GSM for the support as always, and ñu gërëm leen bu baax ci loolu. And we will not waste time much because our guests are already here. We need to bring Julde on to give us what is popping up on the newspapers this morning. Julde, quickly, how many newspapers do we have?
We have all the newspapers this morning.
Fantastic,
and
yeah.
we're starting with my newspaper, the Standard newspaper.
Wow, okay.
And look at their main headlines this morning. Government to legalize skin bleaching. NYC boss does not know why he was sacked. And Dauda Jallo succeed Tambedu as AG. Those are the main stories on the Standard newspaper. We quickly move to the Point newspaper and look at their main headlines. Tambedu gets to top job, UN job. Dauda Jallo takes over. David Colley denies barrels of allegations and youths demand answers to Darbo's dismissal. President Macky Sall placed under quarantine, and NFTR president hands over 10 copies of Nabo magazine to GRA boss. These are the stories on the Point newspaper. Quickly, we move to the Foreign newspaper and look at their main headlines. Lawyer Dauda Jallo is new Minister of Justice as Tambedu takes up UN job. And David Colley claims bug infestation caused beriberi illness in prison cells. And the other one is prosecution continues cross-examination of Yankuba Toure's sister-in-law. And the other story in the Foreign newspaper is government terminates the services of Executive Director of National Youth Council. Minister of Trade says Banjul breweries are selling their assets. Question of the day on the Foreign newspaper is the Access to Information Bill, a GPU-sponsored bill. And lastly, the editorial on the Foreign newspaper is technocrats survive by professionalism and not by parochialism. Lastly, on the Voice newspaper this morning, Dauda Jallo is new Minister of Justice as Tambedu takes a UN job. WCR governor presides over community security discussion, and US commends Gambia government for advancement made in TIP. On the other story is Madi Jobate describes Dabo's dismissal as unlawful, and the other one is Bibi Dabo, GFA is committed to invest in agriculture. Lastly, on the Voice newspaper is government over $1 billion recovered James property sold. These are the stories on the local newspapers. We go straight with our guest this morning, Amadou.
Yeah, fantastic. And of course, for more details on all those stories, you can definitely just grab, grab a
or
copy
their
of
websites.
Fantastic. So that's it. We'll now move on quickly. We, of course, at the beginning, I said it, of course, we are going to have a guest, and they're already here, and we are going to talk about, youth and technology and the impact of COVID-19. And because like I said earlier, we talked about different sectors, how they were affected during this global crisis of COVID-19. And the youths are very important. We were just talking about Lime and Dabo and all that. And the youth of this country need support, and, technology is very important as well. So today, with us on the platform is ML Tech Solution. We have the CEO, Motlamin Pui, and of course, the Chief Operating Officer, Omar Njai, on my right. So here to discuss about the things that they do, and of course, we'll also talk about the impact of COVID-19, and we'll get to know more interesting things about their programs and all that. Yes, Motlamin, good morning. He's the CEO, by the way, and thank you very much for joining us this morning to talk about your own thing. That is, of course, the ML Tech Solution. But first, say hi to our viewers.
Yes, hi to the viewers. And my name is Motlamin Puri, the founder CEO of ML Tech Solution. And okay, ML Tech Solution. It is a young Gambian who initiated this idea and planning to empower a lot of Gambian youth.
Okay.
Because he learned that after school, no youth, they didn't have opportunity for job access.
Yeah.
That's why he created this opportunity for other people.
All right.
As I said, they create opportunity for MLP. That's why now MLP want to create opportunity for others.
To give back.
To give back,
to
in
others.
short.
Thank you very much. That's a good introduction. Julde, I will allow you to welcome Mr. Njai. also.
Mr. Njai, welcome to the program. As the program manager or
his Chief
Operating Officer, very important title. Tell us briefly about what you do at your own level, and then how significant is this to the young people?
Okay, good morning, viewers. My name is Oman Njai. I am the Chief Operating Officer of MLP Tech Solution. It's a young Gambian's IT company. He is the CEO, and then I'm the assistant to him. And then what I do there in MLP, I make sure that the affairs of the MLP is being run by me to implement some of the projects that we are working, and then the affairs of the staff there.
Right.
So we team up to make this opportunity for the youths, for our own fellow youths. And then, we have started since January. We have already registered as a legal IT company.
January this year?
Yeah, this year, January. We have registered already as a legal IT company.
All right. Take us through the projects that you do right now at your institution.
Okay. We have internship program that starts on February, this year, February. We have a collaboration with Opcot. There is a company called Opcot where we take students from various institutions, IT, and even though you don't have IT qualifications, we do some training there in our office. So we have that collaboration with Opcot. Some interns will go there, and then we have ours in our office. So we train them IT, basic IT, and then some of the graphic designing and web development, video editing. Those are the things that we teach them to do, so that they can have something to do in the future. So those are the things that we empower our fellow youths to do.
All right, Julde, very young people here, of course, looking at what things that they are talking about technology. And if you look at them, of course, you say, wow, these are very young people, but they initiated something. And of course, going all along, also supporting other young people. It looks very inspiring. Of course, they can also inspire other young people. But Mr. Puy, before I allow Julde to come in, and tell us about the beginning, how it was as a young person, striving to be successful in life, and of course you have your objective as well, but you opted to come and initiate something like this. How was it like for you as a young person at the time?
At that time it was a hectic time, and where we have to struggle very hard to get our office space. We have to struggle very hard to get a concrete team that we can able to work together. And at that time we don't have a lot of sponsors. We don't have still sponsors, but we still survive to what we have to. And by then, as we have an office, and Mr. Wada, he is president of GAIL, vice president of GAIL. He empowers us by giving us an office space, and where we use that office space as an opportunity, and we empower young people. So as we started, I said it again with our media platform, I never take people that have degree. Let's give opportunity to others that need to have this opportunity to access. So as I said, I bring a lot of people. Some people graduate grade 12, they start down for 3 years, they haven't done anything. We bring them on board, we develop them. And then thank God we have 2 successful stories with them. Someone, he's a great guy now, he's a manager, is one cleaning company. It's just from MAP and maybe a managing cleaning company in here. So someone also, like, he was with us and he built a online media platform for himself. So MAP is all about we creating opportunity for the young ones, because as I said, we want us to grow and we want youth to grow. So if we grow on top, give an opportunity to others and then they will grow. The moment you are fall, and they can able to lift you up. That's our vision that we wanted to elaborate. Let's give opportunity to others young people who need this access to it. We have to support them by this. But where we started is hectic, but alhamdulillah everything is normal for now.
It's evolving along the lines. Yes, Julde.
Yeah, I would just talk on the side of the technology. Now that this is COVID-19 and the impact of it has a huge impact on the jobs around the continent. But of course, people in the IT sector are really celebrating because of the numerous innovations that the IT sector was able to do during this pandemic. People communicate virtually, do a lot of things online. Do you, are you thinking in that line? Do you innovate anything? Or first, tell us the impact it has in your job as a tech institution.
Yeah, like I would say the impact, because first time since the COVID-19 we are in here, and by then the government did not allow public gathering. We don't allow many people to meet together. But it was a problem with us by then. We didn't gather much, but now we working virtually, and then we have creating a lot of projects online now. We want them to engage. Currently, we have one project called news platform, Sunu African News. We want to build it out, and then we empower almost 5 people. They will run in that platform. So that was our aim, and we are building during the COVID-19. We have keep building in this project. We are building this project, and then we have developed a lot of projects in this COVID-19. Although it's affect in the other side because we don't have to gather and develop our projects, but it's helpful with the tech companies because now they do everything online. Now they want all the people, the familiar in this tech solution, in tech business. So it helps in the other side in the tech, but it doesn't help other people.
Especially financially also. How do you survive? And do you make more money during this period? And or you spend more than you earn?
No, but this one, you earn more money more than that because everything is in online now. You can have your service. Someone said, okay, Mr. Pui, I need a website. So he don't have to come to the office, but what he needs, just send us an email and everything, and we do that. From there, he pay us with a PayPal or credit card. That one is easy. We don't go and bring the money. And they will send it to them very easy access. Although you could sit at home, do your work. Some of our work, I normally do it at home because we don't have access to the office. And so it helps for some tech companies. They earn money with this. Okay. Yeah, they earn money with it.
Well, others are kind, others are happy.
Yes,
that's how life goes sometimes. You talk about the people, they cry. When we talk to the transport sector, they were so much impacted that they went to the street and demanded for changes and all that, and some of the regulations. Yes, Julde, we'll allow you just to move on, maybe with Mr. Njai again.
Yeah. Chief Operating Officer.
Yeah.
How about the operation? Do you have any engagement with the government of the Gambia, especially during this pandemic? You're a young Gambian entrepreneurs who are striving to make sure that you make a difference in the technology world. Is there any collaboration between the government of the Gambia? He told us earlier on that he had a support from one individual, but how about the government level, especially during this pandemic?
Well, we are making partnership with other private institutions, but we don't have access to government yet. Okay. So, but we are looking forward to go to government institutions, ministries, to tell them more about us. But we haven't started that yet. But I think in the future we will do on that.
Excellent.
All right. A follow-up question to that: do you have anything like any innovation in the IT sector that you will want to, or you're working on, in order to help people during this pandemic, especially people in the health sector?
Sure. We are on a platform. We want to create a website whereby people from health will venture their own IT services there. Okay. That will be a platform for health workers to venture their own services there. That will provide service for other people who want to go in for health, medications and so on.
Okay, as the operating officer also, what are the challenges sometimes as young people you encounter during your working times? Because sometimes of course you look very young. Do you have sometimes challenges pressing times when of course you are dealing with some people or big things, and of course maybe also with your youth age mates or whatsoever? Tell us, how do you manage that as a young person as well?
Well, challenges is everywhere. Life itself is challenges. So when we take up this challenging from building an IT company, we started from our own self, in our own company, in our own office. The interns there, we don't have enough IT services there, IT material, sorry. Yeah. So we sometimes we give our laptops to them so that they can have access to the programs that we are doing, because there are 2 computers and then it is about 6 people coming there. So we will give our laptops to them. So those are challenges that we have, and then financial issue too. So you have to be motivating your staff or interns, whatever, to giving them some of the tips, and then transport allowances. But we are lacking financial issue, and then that's the main problem there. Those are the challenges we are having right now. But we have hope that we will earn more money, and then be giving them a transport allowance, and then we are looking for sponsor to have these IT materials so that our interns can have access to it.
Yeah, I think with this kind of platforms, of course, There would be, of course, I hope, more opportunities for you. Mr. Of course, Pui, again, you know, as a young person, I know you have an objective, of course, you have an ambition and all that, but tell us about your inspiration. Who inspired you, you know, to get to this level or to initiate something like this? What did you do, thought of at the time and said, listen, as a young person, you know, I am educated, I might have go around looking for job and then here and there, but you just felt that you need to design something by yourself and then engage young people like yourself and make it happen. And here we are talking about your own stuff at the moment. What really motivated you to get involved in such a initiative and of course end up establishing ML tech solution?
Yeah, three people inspired me, and the first one, he is my dad. My father inspired me, and his name is Salif Boy. So he's the first guy who inspired me. I can remember at the age of 7 to 8 years, he brought up one of my uncle, and his name is Aliu. So that guy normally taught me how to do mavis back on, how to type, so on and so. But it started from my dad. My dad inspired me a lot of things. My dad, he's the first guy who said, oh, you are good in tech, so you have to focus much about in tech. And secondly, who's inspired me more is Mr. Wada. As I said, he's the vice president of GALE. And he's the one, I listen to his speech, and anytime
by Maliwada.
By Maliwada, yeah.
Very famous name.
He's a famous name. And also,
we know him, he's been into sports and you know,
yeah,
so many things as well. Yeah.
Definitely, because I've been listening to him. You know, he talk about how we give young people an opportunities, how we empower young people. So I listen to him keenly, and we have chat. He normally, you know, inspired me a lot. Sometimes he send me, thank you, more message. You know, you can, you know, more message that make me, hey, I can do something.
Okay.
So and then the third one, he's my uncle, Mr. Abdul Khawa Khor. He's I don't know, you don't know him much in the Gambia. He's not famous, but he's an inspirable leader. Per se, he's a very great guy. He's the one who inspired me into tech. You know, he's he normally read thousands of books. So, and he inspired me about tech. He was showing me the miracle of tech from his project. So I normally listen to him too. Every time I normally close for work, go to his side and we chat. And he's the one who inspired me more and more. Yes, and after those, these are the great people that inspired me. But the others, and it's not easy to start off as young tech. And currently, I'm a happy husband. Yeah. You understand? And that's it. But it's not easy to cooperate this situation, because I resigned from my work to kickstart this project, and likewise him too. He resigned his work to kickstart this project. So this project, we don't want what we felt to in the back days to happen in this present now. So I want now the young people given an opportunity they can start their programs. That's why we created this platform for everybody. I said again, MLP Tech is everyone's solution. Because if you have your own solution, come to MLP. We will solve it for you as a team. So MLP is everyone's solution. Let's give them an opportunity, and they will be very pleased to showcase their talent. And I believe young people, they have talent, but they don't have people who will be guiding them. Some people start now for 3 years, they didn't have no job. 3 years, they sitting them at home. I have nothing, but give them opportunities. So I'm urging other institutions, other tech company, accept people that doesn't have bachelor's, accept people that doesn't have qualified education. But you can put them through. They have talent that even people that have bachelor's degree, they can do nothing with that, to be honest with you. People say, I have bachelor's, but those people who have like a startup is more than the bachelor's people. Because humanity, those people value humanity. Me, I value humanity. I value what you can do, what you can deliver. So if I value what you can deliver, it's better we give an opportunities. So this is what we have to put in mind. I want other people to accept those people who don't have concrete qualification. Maybe the background is different. Give them an opportunity, show them the way. They will be, creating something by themselves. That's my advice for my daughter, guys.
Excellent. Yeah,
that's a brilliant advice.
Absolutely a great message.
Sure, definitely.
Yeah. So I know we will we are going to end the discussion very soon. But finally, Julde, of course, any more question maybe for Mr. Njai or Pui before we wrap it up. But and then we will. So of course, I'm just told it's already time. So we just going to final wrap now. Just in conclusion. What are your objectives in the next 1 year, 2 years, ambition? where are you looking for ML tech solutions probably in the next possible years?
Yeah, you know, for us, like, we don't think of, we think of long-term goal. But as for us, we don't expect 5 years, we don't expect 3 years, we don't expect 10 years. We expect a month. We work at months. We believe everything is a day. So if our goal is like every month we want to make a change, huge impact in this tech, we're working as a month's goal. When this month, the project today, we have to do this, we have to do that. This is our goal for this month. We focus on that, we complete it. But end of this year, we have completed a lot of projects, a lot of goals. We believe on months, we don't believe on in 5 years. In months, you don't know what can happen. Anything can be happen there.
Yeah.
So we are working on months.
All right.
That's.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Njai. Finally, what is your message to the young people also, you know, who are watching right now, probably inspired by you, and of course, we want to be like you, and of course, you know, we'll probably want to come and join you in what you're doing. What will be your message?
Okay, my final message to my fellow youths, I get inspired by him. He inspired me to team up.
Yeah, you also inspire others.
Yeah, sure. He inspired me to join him and team up when he came up with this idea. So I would like my fellow youths to also, you know, get inspired by others, which is good. You don't need to be great to start. You can start to be great. Yeah. So those are the things that you have to don't undervalue yourself. You can do it and then go for it. Whatever you want to do, go for it. Follow your dreams, and that's it.
Yeah, all right.
Back to the main man.
Yeah, of course.
What would you need? You did say that you don't work in years, you probably work in months, and you work to achieve.
The last one anyway.
That's the last one. But what do you need, like, finally? What do you need to get there? And then, you know, if you have any final message to give to the young people.
Yes, actually, we need competent teams. We need people who need to cooperate with us. I want all the government institutions, private company to believe in the young people. I want them to believe in our own tech solution. We have a lot of things that we can improve, develop. Let them support us, come out and they support us. We have sent a lot of sponsors with a lot of organizations, and still we have people to, you know, we have needy, those people said, okay, I will support you guys. We agree, but I want many people to support young people in order we can empower young people.
All right.
And my final message to the young people, as I said, I have 3 things for young people. I want them to be creative, I want them to be innovative and be consulting. When you talk about creative, you have to create something new that only you can able to create in that aspect. Innovate something that you always innovating in that thing that you normally creative. And if you have any problem, consult your team. I said consulting. Any problem, just consult your team. Yes, I have this problem. How can I solve it? Work as a team. This is the final message for everybody.
Okay,
yeah,
thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Pui, of course, for coming, and it was great having you on this platform. Mr. Njai, thank you very much as well for coming. Julde, of course, that's the end of the program. We end it here for today, and of course for the week, till Monday, inshallah.
Yeah. By Monday, inshallah, to another edition of the Good Morning Africa program. And thank you so much, Mr. Pui, for coming in this program. And Mr. Njai as well, thank you so much. That was really inspiring, especially your last message, innovate, creative, to be creative, innovative, and consult. That is very, very important for any person to move forward. Thank you so much, and it's a pleasure being in this Good Morning Africa program. Till we come your way next week for another brand new edition of the Good Morning Africa program.
All right, that's all how much we got for you today. Jërë ngeen jëf ci ànd bi ngeen di ànd ak ñun saa su ne ci programme bi fi la ñoo yemandee ak yéen. We'll be back next week Monday, inshallah, with a brand new week and edition of Good Morning Africa. Feature Africa TV, wherever you might be watching or you have been watching around the world. So thank you very much for always for the loyal support and of course for contributing to what we do. And once again, Juma Mubarak, and thank you very much. Bye-bye.